Hello everybody, I'm Itraface, and in today's video I'm doing the kind of video I do at the beginning of every new patch. It's the early meta-analysis. But before I go into all the different details of each new Loomian, what they do, what they could happen, all that crap, I should probably go over all the new moves Loomians get. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing. If you haven't watched Jamie's video, or I should say if you have watched Jamie's video or you just don't care what new moves everything has, skip to the timestamp right here, and if you are interested, we'll buckle in. I'm gonna try and go through it a little bit quickly, but anyway, let's go through it. Alright, so since the level cap has risen up to 45, that means old stuff gets new moves because levels. So Umbrat here gets Mega Chomp. These two, Eclipse and Luxor, both get Gamma Pulse. Cinemoth, for whatever reason, gets Magnify. I was asking Jamie if we could get more Magnify users, and he's like, why let's just give Cinemoth. Yeah, you know, just magnifying glass on a bug. Yeah, sure. It gets Magnify, level 45. Babytross, Airblade, nobody cares. Swolder, Mega Punch. Hang on. These are fists? Interesting. Alright, yeah, it's got Mega Punch. Florant, Wonder Herb, but it already has that as a rally move, so eh. Terrafly, Air Whip. Again, not really going to use. Ragoon also has Mega Punch, but it makes slightly more sense, you know, it's got actual hands. Let's see. Oh, we're skipping down to Revenine. None of these guys get anything. Revenine gets Dark Surge finally, so now Luminami and Obsidian aren't going to wall its Vengeance set anymore, so that is cool. Gobademic. Oh boy, Gobademic. Which one's my offensive one? It doesn't really matter. I'm going to be using a very smart anyway. It gets Airblade now, so what that means for it is... last patch, if it wanted to abuse Baneful, it had to break through Swolder, which it couldn't because it resisted all its moves. Now Airblade can threaten Swolder. Paired with a Provoke, it can't recover against you. So, yeah, that's really good for Gobademic. Really good. Icigool finally gets Bane of Haste. Pardon my stats, they're garbage. But, yeah, it finally gets Bane of Haste, so... If I had to summarize what this means for Icicle, it basically means it's the best setter in the game. It's got Icicle Trap, which is buffed now. Bane of Haste. Health Gift, so you can safely get in whatever abuser you want. And various other support moves. It's got Barter. And you can even impersonate crap if you want. All that crap. It's got tools to use Icicle Trap with, so that's cool. Or not Icicle Trap, Bane of Haste. So yeah, that's cool for Icicle. Tyrex. Where's my Tyrex? Oh well, Tyrex, it gets Metal Shriek. Again, nobody really cares. Munchwheel gets Bulk Up. So that's really good for Munchwheel. It really desperately needed setup before, but now it has it. What this means is that the Chad wheel kind of dead. Specialization, you kind of don't want it. Because now you have Rev Up and Bulk Up at the same time. You're basically, after one turn, you're getting a physical quiver dance. Attack, speed, defense. All in one turn. So that's good. Good for it. Anyway, Duskit gets Deja Vu, so like Metronet, it can punish defensive play. So if they're trying to spam Rejuvenate, oh sure, let them. Just make them never stop using it, and then you stack your Peace of Minds, all that crap. So yeah, there you go. Ikazune gets Energy Surge. You could use this over Flash and Flee if you want to do more damage to Ancients. I know one of the this is a range attacker that'll be able to break through the new Infernix. Because of the Energy Surge, so that's fun. Protogon also gets Deja Vu, so, you know, pretty much King of Revenge Killing now can also stop you from, you know, come in against your recovering and, you know, or any defensive option and force you into it, or any unfavorable option and force you into it. Mutagon gets Cerebral Slash. Again, you're just going to use Telekinetic Sweep anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And then Metronet gets Charade. It's not that great for Metronet. Not that great, so eh. So those are all the new level up moves. All of the moves I just listed require you to actually level up your Loomian past level 40. So presumably level 45, that's where most of them get the move, but hey. So next up we got rally moves for Loomians. First up, Valkyrie. Valkyrie gets Magnify now. That's a huge buff for Valkyrie, huge. It allows it to actually wall break effectively. You can if they're trying to switch in their wall for Valkyrie, Magnify. If it were last patch, those walls wouldn't wall it anymore, but we now have actual stops to even a +2 Valkyrie, so that's fun. I'll get into that later. Vesperatu has Spectral Burst and Dark Surge, so if you want to meme around with its 80 range attack stat, it's very usable. You can, fun fact, if you're like a defensive Vesperatu that wants to take minimal damage from Mutagon, Spectral Burst also just flat out OHKOs it, so that's fun, even with 0 ranged attack investment. So that's fun. Obviously, if it's tank, it won't OHKO, but you know. Anyway, Himber gets Frost Beam. I could see this being very good in Little Cup with Snow Cub. Snow Cub finally having a good stab to use on the range side. And then Himber also, you could tech it over Quicksand if you feel like just OHKOing Garbantis. You don't need any range attack, it's gone, out of existence. So that's cool. Gastroke. It has Sap Plant now. It's not going to fix its problem of being weak to chase down and having the lowest melee defense of any fully evolved Loomian, so that's unfortunate for it, but it has Sap Plant, so walling capabilities are improved. Vocaloa, while this isn't an actual rally move, it's just an improvement to a move it had before. Coconut Bomb used to be a ranged move, now it is a melee move, and has increased power. It's now 80 power, but it now does recoil. But with all that being said, that's still a huge improvement to Vocaloa offensively. You could set up a power focus, and you can actually break Luminami pretty well. So that's fun. But again, we have new stuff that doesn't care, I think. I think this one has something... Actually, no. Does any of the new waters just not care about it? I guess Mawamurk still doesn't really care that much. That thing's stupid. Anyway, moving on. Ferroglyph. Let me just get up here. Ferroglyph has both Earthquake and Bulk Up now. Yeah. Now you can use your Idiosyncratics. Oh, by the way, congratulations. I forget who... Oh, no. It was Raz, right? Raz won my, Raz won the UU? I'm pretty sure Raz won the UU. Enjoy the Gleaming, Nimble, Idiosyncratic Ferroglyph that you can now have Earthquake and Bulk Up on. Enjoy that. So, yeah. That's a big buff to Idiosyncratic. You can actually use it. And that in itself, now that Idiosyncratic is usable, that's a whole lot of mind games just at Team Preview. Anyway, Tyrex gets Steel Crusher now, so you can replace Complete Demolition with a move that doesn't cause you to have to rest the next turn. So that's good for it. Very good. Ikizune, this wasn't mentioned in Jamie's video, but Ikizune now gets Burn Up. If you don't... You can use... It's still set up for Ikizune on the range attack side. Obviously, it's not energized. It gives you range defense as well, but it can also be used to clear hazards, which is a lot more relevant now that fire types don't immediately remove Icicle Trap. So, Burn Up Ikizune could be actually a thing that it benefits from. Okay, so that's all the old Loomians. Now let's get into the new Loomians and their rally moves. I forget what box I had them all in. Alright, cool. I believe I have these in PD order. I do, actually. Cool, I'm great. Arapaigo. This is Goppy's evolution, and I would like to call it Garapaigo. Or Garabaigo. Because, oof. This thing did not get much. Don't pay attention to these. The stats are okay. 95 HP is nothing to scoff at. 74, eh. 105 speed makes it the fastest water type, and that holds true throughout all of them. It's the fastest water type in the game, but 99 range attack is very, very, very average. And its move pool isn't that great. For rally moves, it only gets Frost Beam. Makes me think that, once you listen to the rest of these new Loomians rally moves, it makes you think Jamie kind of forgot about it. And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of forgot about it too when he was talking about all the other stuff, but anyway, yeah, it only gets Frost Beam as a rally move, and then it gets Tsunami, which is a 90 power water move, so that's cool. And its coverage also boils down to Rant, I guess. But yeah, it doesn't have very many moves. Its stats are average, no setup. But its abilities are cool. It has Finesse, which bypasses defensive things like Scapegoat. And if we ever get like Reflect Light Screen clones, it'll bypass those too. And then its secret ability is called what? Quick Recovery? Speedy Recovery? I don't remember. It's Quick Recovery, I think. If you get status and then you switch out, it cures the status, so it's natural cure from Pokemon. Anyway, moving on. I need to stop talking about the specifics of the Loomian. Let me just go over their moves. Anyway, next up we got Skelic. It's one of the fossils, the first of the fossils. Rally moves, it only has Provoke. Yeah, it's whatever. Anyway, Joltooth, another of the new fossils. My personal favorite Loomian of the update, by the way. Rally move wise, it has Bulk Up, and while it can't get it right now, it has Bane of Haste in its list. I went up to Jamie before this update came out, and I was like, "Yo, why don't you get this thing Bane of Haste? I mean, look at the speed stat. It's not amazing, and it would be great at abusing it itself, especially since its not so great speed tier turns into a ridiculous speed, a very threatening speed tier under Bane of Haste. It would force switches and let it work with its ambush." He's like, "Okay, sure." And then the update comes out, and I learned that they can't rally, so it doesn't matter. He still doesn't get Bane of Haste. So there goes my little hard work I tried to get for this boy. Oh, anyway, that's upsetting. Anyway, I said anyway like 4 times that sentence. Moving on, we have Infernix, the third of the 4 fossils. My least favorite. It's gross. It's disgusting. Ew. Anyway, rally move wise, it has Peace of Mind, oh boy, Airblade, Gust, and again, similar to Joltooth, it has Return to Sender in its rally move list, but it cannot be rallied with. It cannot get Return to Sender right now because all the things with Return to Sender can't lead a rally, and fossils cannot rally, so it cannot get Return to Sender. But it's kind of good because if it did, it would be your range attackers. If you tried to kill it, it would just kill you before you could. It's just oof. Anyway, moving on. Dorogo. This thing has it's the Luminami of this update move pool wise. Its rally moves include Bulk Up, Provoke, Power Focus, Scavenge, Venom Chomp, Scapegoat, and Poison Barbs. Is that it? Yes, that's it. I just didn't have the list fully up. Anyway, yeah. It's a new Poison Barb user, so that's really cool. It's got a lot of setup, and its primary ability is Contrary, or in this game, Anomaly. So stat buffs become stat nerfs, and stat nerfs become stat buffs, so that's fun. But again, I'll go more into detail about these Loomians after this whole little recap thing. Anyway, moving on, we got Mawamurk. The evolved form of Wildile. Least favorite, either least favorite, second least favorite of Loomian of the update. Rally moves include Photosynthesis, Bulk Up, and Provoke, so it has recovery, it has setup, and it could, punish defense. So there you go. Stats. Moving on, we have Meditoad. One of my favorites of the update. One of them. Fun fact, Jamie wanted to give this huge power at first, and I was like, no, huge power is stupid. And then I looked at the rest of the Loomians, saw that they were all fat, and I went back to him, and I was like, hey, with all this fat stuff, I wouldn't mind huge power, actually. And you know what Jamie said? Nah, I don't feel like doing huge power no more. Nah. So, anyway. Enough about that. Rally moves. It has Peace of Mind, Mega Punch, Deja Vu, and Slapdown. The biggest one there being Slapdown. That's very nice utility for it. Despite the fact... What resists this? I mean, a plant resists this, so Slapdown helps with that, so that's cool. But yeah, I mean, utility and Slapdown's always good. Peace of Mind if you want to use ranged moves. It is mixed in its stats, so it could be run physically or ranged. So there you go. Anyway, those are its rally moves. Moving on, we have Bloatox. Water Toxic, everybody's favorite typing for a bulky water type. Anyway, rally moves include Icicle Trap, Poison, Tsunami, and Sharpen. Tsunami, oh yeah, yay. I love me some Tsunami. Love it. Anyway, Poison, Icicle Trap, it also has recovery from the Rejuvenate, so yeah, it's got tools, and it's got bulk. Fun. Moving on, we've got Garlash. Rally moves include Clay Slap, for some reason, Primal Slash, Toxic Tail, and Tease. So its rally moves are kind of meh. Don't really care too much. But it has Power Jaw, so it's 100 2.0, more attack, less speed, but hey, water type. And then finally we have the roamer Cephalops, this broken abomination of oof. Rally moves wise, it has Frost Beam, Dark Surge, Icicle Traps, and Aqua Jaw. So it's another water type with Icicle Trap. And this is a very offensive thing. This may look like a very average range attack, well, above average, I should say. But this plus this, yeah, it's fun. Anyway, those are all the rally moves. And if you're just tuning in after skipping through the beginning portion of the video, hi, it's time to start the early meta analysis. So, considering all the new moves and stuff for everything, first I want to go over the new Loomians and feel like, explain how I see them being used and how I see them performing in the meta overall. Let's just start off with Arapaigo. Anyway, this thing, if you don't already know, is the evolution of Agape. I did kind of go over this earlier, but I forgot to skip the extra details, so I have to do it again. So sorry. Anyway, its stats, what it does have going for it is being the fastest water type in the game. So 105 speed is pretty good. Outspeeds Garbantus and Tatob. The only problem, or one of it, well, I can't say the only problem. One of the problems it does have is very average offense, 99 range attack. It'd be cool if it had something to boost its stats. It doesn't. It really has nothing to boost its offense, and its move pool, in general, is just very underwhelming. It has Frost Beam, it has Tsunami, so it has powerful moves. But those are the only two powerful moves it has. The next best thing to run on it is Rant. Not Chomp, but pretend this is Rant. A 55 power range dark move. And after that, what else do you run on this thing? It doesn't really have much. So in terms of performing in the meta with subpar offense and a poor move pool, I don't see it getting much mileage at all. This thing is definitely a UU kind of thing, and even then, I don't know if it would do well down there either. But its abilities, I should go over the abilities. One, Apprehension, this is the worst ability. I unfortunately leveled it up like this, but it doesn't really matter because it's not a PvP one. Yeah, you're never going to use up Barani Arapaigo unless you do, with Hydra Slash, Chomp, I guess, if you're that kind of person. Anyway, its other abilities are Finesse, which lets you bypass defensive moves like Scapegoat, not dodge or the block moves, but it will bypass Scapegoat. So things like Tyrex, you could just hit them behind there. And if they ever add clones to moves like Reflect or Light Screen from Pokemon, Finesse would let you hit past those as well. So it's actually a useful ability. It's just, this Loomian isn't very useful. And then its secret ability is called Quick Recovery, I believe. And if you get statused and then you switch out, the status goes away. So that's fun. You could absorb a poison and then switch out and not worry about it. Too bad you are offensive, so that's not amazing for you. So overall, this just feels underwhelming. Probably the most underwhelming thing in the update. Moving on. Next up, we've got Skelic. When I was talking about underwhelming, I was hoping to move into something a bit more impactful, but here we are. We've got Skelic. The first of the 4 fossils, also the worst of the 4 fossils, in my opinion. Ancient Water is pretty cool as a typing, but let's also go over the abilities. Bitter Touch. It's basically Cursed Body from Pokemon. If something comes into contact with you, you have a chance to disable that move for a few turns. Don't use this ability. I mean, it's actually got decent melee bulk, I guess, but its other ability, not its secret ability, is much more appealing. It's called Combative, and whenever any of its stats drop, and it's actually, let me just say this. It's Valkyrie's secret ability, but it boosts its melee attack instead. So allies can't proc it, it can't proc it itself, but if any of its stats drop, its melee attack goes up 2 stages, which is good because it's a melee attacker. And then the secret ability is Contact Curse, so contact moves cost 50% more energy when being used on this thing. Again, don't really need it. But anyway, this thing's move pool, it has no physical Ancient Stab. But it does have Mega Chomp, it does have Chili Chomp, and then its signature move, Piercing Drive. Oh, I put it in the damage kill because Piercing Dive. I'm gonna have to fix that. Anyway, it basically has the effects of Finesse. It'll bypass their defensive fortifications. Actually, I should say it's Ghostly Howl, but water and physical. So it'll bypass Dodge, it'll bypass Briar Block, it'll bypass Magma Block, but this move will also bypass Scapegoat. So again, Tyrex, if it switches in on you, 1, you'll get a combative boost, and 2, you'll bypass Scapegoat if it's got it up. So that's cool, but I don't really like the move other than that because it's got another move, Aqua Jaws, that's 65 power. But it also lowers their melee defense after each use, so that's, that lets it snowball. But again, the problem with this thing, it has no ancient move. It has no Ancient Stab. Like, oof. How are we supposed to hit the Obsidragon? Even though it'll probably still wall you. Because resilience. Anyway, so again, I forgot to cover Baffle. What am I doing? Baffle here. It's a move that when used, it's like Ancient Roar, but instead of lowering their offenses, you lower their speed 2 stages and then switch out to something else. So it's a pivot move, which is good. I told Jamie it was supposed to be -1 speed, or not supposed to be. I told Jamie it should probably be -1 speed because -2 speed is very, 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 very powerful. It lets pretty much anything outspeed the fast offensive Loomians after the Baffle. Like, you're going to get a Cephalops outspeeding a Zulong after a Baffle, and it's just like, oof, why? But yeah, it is what it is though. So yeah, it's a very useful pivot move on offense, or for like slower offensive teams. But the thing it's just this thing has the same coverage as like Garlash, which I'll cover in a bit, but it doesn't have as much power as Garlash. And fun fact, Garlash gets Primal Slash. and Skelic doesn't. Why? Why did Skelic get screwed over so badly? I mean, it's got the claws right there. Primal Slash, give it, go. Anyway, yeah, Skelic's also pretty underwhelming in my opinion. Another UU thing, like I said. Anyway, let's move on to something that I actually like the outlook of. A Joltooth, my favorite Loomian of the update. Design-wise, it's amazing, and I'm most likely going to actually hunt a Gamma PvP version of this thing. Yeah. And then, of course, when I get it, or when I get the Gamma, it's going to be the wrong ability. Or if it is the right ability, it'll be the wrong personality. But, you know, that's just my luck. Anyway, enough about that. Let's go over... it has Ambush. So, yeah, pair that with it's a monstrous 126 melee attack. Yeah, you can already see some meaty hits coming out of this thing if you manage to catch a switch with it. Really effective. You know, Ambush becomes a lot more desirable, especially with icicle traps being buffed, allowing to actually get chip off on things. So, like, let's say a Cephalops tries to switch in on you, you do get Primal Slash. So let's say you Primal Slash a Cephalops. If it's max fully defensive, it's only going to take, like, what, 40%? But it's also taking Icicle Trap on top of that. And if they aren't currently weakened at the time Cephalops switches in, it's taking 25%. So 40 plus 25 is 65 just from switching in. That's no bueno for Cephalops, at least. But it also, if you're predicting, if you want to try and force swaps a little bit easier, you can also run bulk up on this, because that raises your subpar melee defense, along with your attack. And raising this thing's attack means it's going to hit exceedingly hard. And force more switches, and it's just great. It's just great. I like how this thing looks. The problems with this thing, obviously, it's slow and it's frail. That generally is never a good combo, and it still isn't here. This thing will struggle very hard against more offensive teams, because offensive teams are generally faster. But other than that, I should go over its other abilities. It has Driven. And what that does is every time it flinches, its speed will go up, but why run that when you have Ambush? And then its secret ability is called Overcharge, which has, it will be legitimately usable in doubles for sure. And for people that are scared that they won't be able to force switches, it'd be good here too. It'll boost the power of all electric moves used on the field. That includes your opponents, that includes your allies. So yeah. It has two good abilities, Ambush and Overcharged. And its moves, it's got Bulk Up, Primal Slash, Thunderclap, and then it also has Dark Coverage, Bamboozle. Bamboozle isn't the best move, but an Ambush boosted Bamboozle hitting an Eliguana trying to wall your stabs sounds pretty good to me. So yeah, it's pretty good. But it also, in its MMs, it has access to Mud Spatter. While you wouldn't really expect it to be running ranged moves because its range attack is only 76, Terrorfly's done it before and it only has 46. It was abusing Ambush. This thing has 76. One of the primary walls of this thing is probably going to be, besides Cephalops, is probably going to be Tyrex, because one, terrifying, two, it's not weak to anything Joltooth throws out. But Mud Spatter would actually hit it pretty hard. So that's just a cool little thing to note. It does have Mud Spatter, but it would only be useful in Tyrex. Anyway, but yeah, that's pretty much it for this thing. This looks very threatening, but again, it's easy to overwhelm, but it does hit like a truck, and I'm excited to try it out. Up next, I've got a little, I hate this thing. Let's just say that Infernix, basically Moltres. Look at this thing, it's just screaming Moltres. Anyway, abilities. It's got Scorching Skin, it's got Pyro, Erupted on secret ability, but it's not its secret ability. And then its secret ability Power Napper! Don't we all love some Power Napper in our life? You know, if Luminami wasn't enough, now we have a fire type with it as well. It just so happens that those two complement each other very well. Luminami, weak to electric and plant. Infernix, weak to light. What else is it weak to? Light. Weak to light, earth, ancient. Oh yeah, it's weak to ancient. Yeah, Luminami doesn't care about ancient either. So yeah, those two complement each other very well. And then its signature move depletes all of your energy and restores your health based on how much you used. If it was 25% or more, your stat drops are cleared. If it's 50% or more, your status elements are cleared. So if it's poisoned, the poison goes away. If it's paralyzed, the paralysis goes away. Sounds like a very people are very split on this move. They're either, oh, this move's trash. Using all of your energy sucks. And then you've got other people on the other side. Oh my god, you could do so much with this move. Like, it gets peace of mind, so you could stack peace of minds and then just heal all the way back up, rest, and do it again. And in my opinion, originally was like, wow, this move is stupid, dumb, I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. But again, if they predict it and they switch out into something that takes advantage of Infernix in general, you've put yourself in a bit of a pickle, because one, you need to get out of there or else Infernix drops. And two, you're out of energy, so when you do come back in, you need to get your energy back before you can do anything else. So it's a very risky move. It's a very high risk, high reward move. So yeah, and then its best ancient stab on the range side is Shrewd Blast right here. It also gets Fire Breath, but yeah, its stats, it's very bulky on the range side, 79, 107. Seti Mars is basically this, but swapped, and it's when we're trying to describe something as defensive, having the higher defense over HP is generally better. And yeah, this is not exception here. This thing is exceedingly tanky. Let's take Volcaloa for example. Stall users were starting to add very clever Volcaloa to their teams last patch, and it only has 64 range defense. This thing has 107. This thing is going to swallow ranged hits. It's going to be dumb. And it has Power Napper on top of that. But it also has utility because it learns Burn Up. It can get rid of hazards. But if you don't want Provoked, you could also run Gust to get rid of your hazards. So it's just like, bruh. This thing is just going to be annoying. Very, very annoying. What? Shrewd Blast, Fire Breath, Phoenix Flame, and then like you could run either Peace of Mind, you could run Burn Up or Gust, and it's got options. It's got options. If you don't want to run Dual Stab, you could run the one, Hazard Removal. It's got options, and it'll wall. It'll wall alright. Anyway, moving on. I'm tired of this thing already. I hate it. We got Dorogo. Ancient Dark. Now, its abilities, Anomaly, like I said earlier, if you were there paying attention, stat nerfs are stat buffs, and stat buffs are stat nerfs. So if it uses Stretch, it'll lose speed, and if something terrifies it, its attack will go up. So that's fun. Signature move Egglob here. It's like Radiant Forecast except dark. It's a little less powerful, but it does also lower one of their stats randomly when it hits. So that's cool. It's also base 116 speed. I mean, the rest of its stats are very meh. But 116 speed is very fast, and it gets Poison Barbs. It's the second Poison Barbs user. Its speed tier makes it almost unable to be provoked. Gobademic. If you're running Gobademic, you can provoke it. Yeah. It also has Baffle, so it'll pretty much half your speed whenever it feels like it. And then it has other moves. It's got plenty of moves. It's got Dual Stab. It's got various setup. I should go over its secret ability before I keep going. It's called Surrogate. It currently doesn't work, apparently, and I got reports that it doesn't work from people. I can't fix them, by the way, guys, just saying. But it basically doesn't work. But what it's supposed to do is when an ally faints when you come in to replace it, or if you're next to them in a double battle, you will take their ability. Simple. Very fun as well. If something like, let's say, Infernix drops and you bring this in, it's getting Power Napper. If a Mutagon drops and you bring this in, it's getting Heavy Fist. By the way, this gets Slapdown, which is boosted by Heavy Fist. And it gets Mega Punch, which is boosted by Heavy Fist. So, it could use that if you wanted to. But yeah, it's going to be a very annoying and fast support Loomian for offense, for sure. It also has Provoke if it feels like doing that. It's got a lot of moves it could work with. By the way, this is a non-PvP one. I randomly got it and leveled it up. Do not think this is just like, oh, hey, free set, let's go. I mean, especially look at these UPs and TPs. Anyway, but yeah, this thing will definitely has a use in the meta, being super fast and having a bunch of support moves. Gobademic is the same way, but this Dark Ancient is actually a very interesting defensive typing. You resist Water, Plant, Electric, Dark Spirit. What else? I forget, but it resists stuff. Unlike Gobademic, who resists Brawler, it's Toxic and Plant. Maybe does it resist Plant? Yeah, it resists Plant. Yeah, it does. And Bug? Does it resist Bug? I can't remember. I'm sorry, but yeah, this definitely has utility. Anomaly, it doesn't get any moves to abuse it yet, but when it does, that'll be cool in like a more offensive variant. Let's treat it like it's Superior from Pokemon, and let's just give this thing Draco Meteor. Let's go, Draco Meteor. Let's go. Anyway, yeah, this will be very interesting, very annoying. It's going to be hard to pin it down because, again, it's really fast and has Baffle, so it can pivot out. So yeah, interesting Loomian. Very interesting. Up next, oh god, Fatty Water type. Woo! If you thought Luminami was going to be your only super fat, well-rounded Loomian, or Water type Loomian, you thought wrong. Look at these stats: 109 HP, 87 defense, 84 range defense. That's gonna be fun, isn't it? Its abilities are Swampy, which means every plant move has a chance to lower the target's speed. It's meh, whatever. Its secret ability, Woodsman. If a plant move's used on it, it'll absorb it and boost its melee attack instead. Still very but better than Swampy. And its moves are pretty good. It's got Mega Chump. It's got melee moves for all of its stab. It's got ranged moves it's got melee moves for its stab, and it has coverage in Mega Chump. And it has range move for its stab. It's got Tsunami. It's got Life Drain. It's got Aqua Jaws if you feel like lowering melee defense. It's got Bushwhack for plant stab. Oof, it's not that great in terms of melee plant stab, but whatever. It's got healing and photosynthesis. It's got setup and bulk up, so you're probably going to be running a melee variant of this. It could also have sap plant for more stalling. And what else does it? It's got provoke if you want, but other than that, you're probably just going to be using Mega Chomp, bulk up, Aqua Jaws maybe, photosynthesis. You might throw a Bushwhack in there depending on who you want to hit. But yeah, this thing, I can already see max health, max range defense, very clever. Bulk up so you could patch up melee defense on that side too. And you're obviously running Mega Chomp. Oh yeah, I mentioned Valkyrie earlier in the video. Yeah, this thing resists both its stab, not weak to Air Blade, and will likely be running very ranged bulky, and will not drop to Magnify Valkyrie. Fun, isn't it? But yeah, this thing is going to be insanely hard to take out. It's going to be very bulky, very fat, and has recovery. It's just going to sit there, looking at your team and laughing at you because you're not doing damage to it. And then it also could spiral out of control because it has bulk up. So that'll be fun. Toxic Tail Tata finally has a legitimate use. You know, if you want to take this thing out, because it's quad weak to Toxic. Moving on, we got Meditoad. I don't necessarily like the design. I'm personally not a fan, but what it can do is what I'm interested in. It has 3 abilities. 1, specialization, kind of bad in my opinion. 2, it has Watcher. If you know Pokemon terms, this is analytic from Pokemon. So if it moves last in the turn, it's getting a 30% boost to its damage that turn. So that's fun. And then its secret ability is called Sly. When it's being attacked or attacking something, it's just going to ignore the target's item completely. Right now, that's not very good, but I can see this being very useful in the future when, like, choice items, weakness items are coming out, like weakness policy, being able to just hit them for weakness and not trigger it. Or if they have, like, a choice specs and you switch it in, you're not going to take that choice specs damage, you're just going to take normal damage. So that's fun. But for now, I would definitely say Watcher is the superior ability here, because, well, it is slow. It's bulky, it's got some good bulk, it's slow, and it's mixed offensively. These attacking stats look very average, which they are, but Watcher does patch up that nicely, because most of the time you will be moving slower. And then it's got, its signature move is interesting. It's a melee move, but it hits the opponent's range defense, so something like Obsidian doesn't, or won't appreciate it, unless it's like a very clever one. But you also get power focus, so you can set yourself up in a mixed manner. It does get stab on both sides. It's got Flabbergast and Thunder Strike, and then this Cycle Slap and Thunder Punch. It does have Thunder Punch if I were to level it up. It also has Slap Down from Rally. It also has Mega Punch if you care about the bugs, although you're slower than most of them. So you would be eating a hit before you're punching them, which is not exactly ideal, but if that's up your alley, you have that. You also have Peace of Mind if you want to run a ranged one. And then, of course, it also has Tase for support. You know, Tase a Loomian, you know, half its speed for your other offensive things, like, let's say, a Joltooth. If they're at half speed, Joltooth's likely going to outspeed it. Yeah, it's got some utility in it. It also has priority quick pounce if that's up your alley. I personally don't think it'll run that very much, but you can if you want. So it does have setup, not great setup, but it does have setup. I mean, Peace of Mind's good, but its range moves are not that great. I mean, Thunder Strike and Flabbergast are fine, but that's pretty much all it gets, if I remember correctly. But watch a slow physical Watcher, punching holes and things. Also, this typing also resists everything Valkyrie does, bar the Raging Howl, which I could see it running this patch because Mawamurk, you want to chunk that thing hard. But it resists Metal Blast, Gamma Pulse, and Air Blade, so that's fun. And yeah, it's another way to check Valkyrie, so that's fun. I am excited to try this one out for sure. I'm not sure how well it'll do, especially since we have so many bulky things. Its offensive stats are very average, so we'll see how it goes. Anyway, moving on, we got Bloatox here. We got Water Toxic. Oh boy, Toxapex, guys. It doesn't have Power Napper, so at least that's cool. It has sharp edges, and it also toxic spines, which means if you come into contact with it, there's a chance you get poisoned. And its secret ability is Baneful, so it'll do more damage if they are poisoned. I don't see this thing being used offensively very much, although it's perfectly capable of it. It has Aqua Jaws, it has Venom Chomp, so it does have dual stab. You also, I believe it gets Chili Chomp, I may be wrong about that. I do not remember all of this thing's level up moves, but it does have moves to use offensively. And with the Rally, it does learn Sharpen, so it can set up its attack stat. But stats-wise, it's very bulky, you know, 93, 91 on the bulk with 73 range defense. And then it has a usable 89 melee attack stat. Like I said, if you want to run the Sharpen set, you could. It also has Rejuvenate. It also has Icicle Traps. It also has Poison. It's got utility. It's got bulk. We all know what it's going to be used for. No, if you want to be funny, you could run Pwuff. It's pre-evolution. Drop of Youth has better bulk, and it still keeps Rejuvenate, Icicle Trap, Poison, all that jazz. It's just its energy stat's very low, so that would just be for some trolling, if you will. But I can see this thing getting used. I don't know how well to do, but it is something that can deal with this thing, which I'll get to in a little bit. Moving on, we've got Garlash. It's a water type hunter. It's basically a water type hunter. It's similar with its attack. It's got speed, although less speed. It's got Power Jaw. Its other ability is Terrifying, and its secret ability is Devious. It's a copy-paste mold breaker from Pokemon. It'll ignore the ability of the Loomian when you're going to attack it, so things like Trash Armor Garbantus would be ignored. Toxic Filter Stratosaur would be ignored. Total Eclipse would be ignored from Eclipse, so you could make a Chompet if you wanted with the Devious, but I would much rather run Power Jaw. Its signature move, I don't like it. It just causes the next move of the opponent to cost 25% more energy. It does learn Aqua Jaws. I would much rather run that. Sure, it's 10 less power, but you lower their defense every time. So yeah, it could raise its speed with Stretch if it wants to. Don't believe it gets any melee setup though. Could be wrong, but I don't believe it does. But it does have some decent coverage in Chili Chomp, Mega Chomp, and Aqua Jaw. Obsidian walls it though, so that's fun. That's fun. But it does get Primal Slash, unlike Skelic. I can definitely see this thing being used a lot. It's fast, or it's fairly fast, and it's powerful with 100 attack and Power Jaw. Yeah, offensive water type, always welcome. So yeah, that's that with those. Let's move on to the Roamer. This thing, in my opinion, is insanely stupid. Very, very strong. Very strong. Very, very strong. Cephalops. I named it Sephiroth because Smash recently with the Sephiroth thing. It just sounds like Sephiroth, so whatever. It's a water dark type, which is amazing offensively, especially when you give it an ice move, like you know with this Frost Beam right here. Bloodsucker powers up the moves that drain health. It only has Soul Drain to abuse it, but Soul Drain is a dark move, and dark moves are generally very good, and it's very spammable. And its stats, it's got a monstrous 154 HP. It's the highest in the game. Wiki got beat out. It has 152. This has 154. So yeah, energy's above average. Attack, you could run mixed if you wanted to. You're not going to, but you could. But you're not going to. Defenses are very. I mean, aren't these exactly Joltooth's 64, 69? Oh, it has 67, 64. My bad. No. Oh, I guess I gotta name it Sephiroth again. Anyway. 119 range attack. It's very above average. Generally unboosted. That doesn't do. It's not too powerful, but 52 speed, very slow. Which is actually good for it because then it takes a hit with this monstrous HP stat of its that it has, and then you blood suck or soul drain them, and you just get it all back. And that's what this thing does. This thing, it doesn't resist fire, by the way, because it's dark. So fun fact: you take an Eruptodon, right? Pyro, it's very smart. Fire Essence. Or Fire Breath. Let's hit Sephiroth. It's going to be a 2-hit KO normally, and then it Soul Drains. You don't even disregard Tsunami. Let's pretend it didn't have Tsunami. Let's just pretend. Soul Drain, also going to 2-hit KO Eruptodon, but it heals enough back to this thing right here that a following Fire Breath will not knock this thing out, and then the Soul Drain will knock them out, and this will just win 1v1. it will 1v1 the vast majority of Loomians in this game. There are some that will win the 1v1, Guardrone being one. Bloatox will 1v1 it. Joltooth 1v1s. I don't think this does. I don't need to keep going. It does have things that can 1v1 it. Oh yeah, very robust Bug Essence Garbantus can one-shot it. So that's fun. If you're feeling, if for them stall lovers, a Clever Vesperatu can take it on. Blood Drain being buffed, so that's fun. Not, but it's there. Anyway, so yeah, this thing's very insane. And then on top of the fact that, you know, this insane coverage, it also has Icicle Trap, so it can force. Well, when it forces a switch, it can apply Icicle Trap and cause damage across the team or the opposing team. It also it has Hypnosis. Or no, what is it called in this game? Hypnotize. So you can put something to sleep if you feel like it, because its secret ability is also Nightmarish. At the end of every turn, if they're asleep, they take a bit of their health. In my opinion, not very good. Just run Bloodsucker. But, what else? Oh yeah, it also has a move at 45 called Square 1. It's Haze from Pokemon. It'll clear all stat changes on the field. Let's say an Obsidian decides to Beast Slumber you. It gets +1 melee defense, +1 range defense. Heals itself up. You use Square 1. You clear those stats. When it wakes up, it's still going to lose melee defense and range defense. So when it wakes up, it'll have -1 range defense. So Soul Drain will be doing even more. So that's a very oof moment for Obsidian if it runs Square 1. So it's definitely got options, and it's very powerful. Frost Beam for bugs that want to take the Soul Drain, or plants that want to take the Tsunami, even, except this also hits plants. I keep forgetting Dark hits plants, but yeah. This thing's going to be very, 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 very threatening. You could pretty much put it on any team. If you want to run a very bulky one for stall, you could. If you want to just run offensive one, you know, for a slower offensive team, maybe even Bane of Haste. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. That's why I have Sluggish there with very low speed. Yeah, this thing is just going to be a monster. Yeah, very, very, very threatening monster. So yeah. That's all the new Loomians. Okay, let me go over some old ones that I think are going to still be good. Tyrex, I definitely see rising up because we have Joltooth now. As well as what, Meditoad. It could help keep those at bay with its terrifying, and then it's also got Steel Crusher now, so its Scapegoat set got better. The offensive one, where you run Steel Crusher, you would run Complete Demolition, Earthquake, and Sharpen, or not Sharpen. It doesn't get that. It gets Power Focus. So now you can run Steel Crusher over Complete Demolition, so you don't have to rest a turn. So that's cool. You also, that's cool for it. So I could see Tyrex being useful. Valkyrie definitely. Magnify is a huge boost for it. Vesperatu is always going to be used. That thing's good. Ticlips, again, always going to be used. It's one of the things, if you like, bulky Ticlips can help prevent Cephalops from being stupid. I can see use from Volcaloa. I don't see it being like top tier. It'll probably be UU, but I can see it being used because Coconut Bomb, giving it coverage. Ferroglyph with Bulk Up and Earthquake, giving it a full moveset with, like, you could run Phantom Slash to hit the spirits. You could run Cerebral Slash. It does get that. So yeah, you have melee moves. You could also run Hop Kick instead of Phantom Slash if you want to hit bugs. So it has options, and that alone, having options on something that could either be physical or ranged is kind of kind of threatening, because you won't know how to immediately answer it until it hits you or it gets hit. So, or you're just a god at analyzing their team and can immediately pick out which one they are. But that's an acquired skill. Ikazune, I can see it being useful. It can break through this fat freaking bird. Oh, speaking of this fat freaking bird in Revenine, it got Dark Surge, so it's no longer walled by Luminami or Obsidian when it's got Vengeance. Oh, but this thing could just switch in for free. But if you've got Vengeance on this thing literally comes in for free, swallows your hit, and completely forgets you exist. So that's unfortunate. Yep. But yeah, Valkyrie getting Magnified, huge. It's got Airblade, Raging Howl, Gamma Pulse, Metal Blast. It's got moves to choose from. And then you could also slot in Rejuvenate if you want to keep yourself healthy. Wall breaking, very good. It's just this thing exists. And Stall is one. I can guarantee you, Stall is 100% going to run this. 100%. There's no way they don't. And it'll be for reasons like Valkyrie. But a +2 Raging Howl does 2-shot this, but Mega Chomp also hurts you a lot, so there's that. And of course they could Photosynthesis spam and just not care about your existence. But if they do that, you could set up more Magnifies. So what I'm saying is Raging Howl is likely going to be used this update with Valkyrie. But what else we got up here? Munch Wheel. I don't know how well it'll be, but Bulk Up with Rev Up does sound very fun. It does have good coverage. It's got Blaze Chomp, Chili Chomp, Thunder Chomp, Double Whack. It's got Mega Chomp. So it's got good coverage, and it's got setup. So I am excited to see what people do with it. It'll break through this. It could break through Luminami because of Bulk Up. It could... Wait. It could break through this. It could break through... Oh, wait. Where did it... Oh, wait. I put it all... Yeah, it's all the way up here. It could break through this. It could break through this. It could break through all of these. Munch Wheel. Munch Wheel. Is that the answer we've been looking for? Bulk Up, Mega Chomp, and then this thing just has low defense as it is. Is this what we've been looking for? And then it also has Bulk Up for Obsidian, so it won't care about it. Is this what we've been looking for? Munch Wheel? The Stall Killer? I doubt it, but hey. It's interesting to think about, nonetheless. But, what else we got here? Cinemoth. I can definitely see people trying to use it. It's a range attacker that will definitely be able to break through a very clever version of this, that's for sure. +2 Pharaoh Blast would hurt this like crazy. Plus its ability to put something to sleep lets it... I mean, the combination of Snore Spores and Magnify will, in theory, let it 1v1 anything slower than it. So that's interesting. What else we got? Gobademic. Oh, I am so excited to try out Gobademic. Airblade for Swolder. Muck Blast for this. Oh wait, I'm very upset when I realized a very clever Mawamurk actually face tanks a very smart Muck Blast from Gobademic. I was very upset to learn that, but it does. It does like 82. It does what? 80 something to 97. I was very upset to learn that. But still, Gobademic with Baneful. I mean, if it's poison, then Gobademic's just going to blow it back. But hey, but Baneful with Poison Barbs, especially with another new setter, I could definitely see Gobademic rising in usage. What else we got here? Icicle, right? Bane of Haste teams. We've got what, 3 setters now? Oh, I mean, only 2 of them are pretty much remotely useful. Ferroglyph as a setter, and yes, I said Ferroglyph, not Pyramide. And the Icicle. You could try Waka Waka as a setter, but I don't. It's difficult. That thing's defensive typing is very suspect, and yeah, you could try, but hey, Bane of Haste teams can finally be are usable. We have the setters. We technically have the setters, and then we also have very good abusers like Borok, Mewtwo, Joltooth potentially, Cephalops. Yeah, we've got plenty of abusers, so that's interesting. Oh, Protogon's always going to be useful. I'm just looking at this list. I see Protogon on there. I can definitely see Protogon being on there. Let me just pull up my little. I need to pull up a actual list of Loomians real quick because I might forget some. Let's see. Oh yeah, Tata. Tata will likely still be good. Hunter, I don't see going much of anywhere. Like in terms of like from where it was last time, it's still going to be very good. Gardrone got worse for sure. Between Mawamurk and Infernix, it's harder for it to break through things. I see Chartiki. Infernix walls it to heck and back, but it still applies a lot of pressure being Chartiki. It could break Mawamurk, so that's cool. But let's see. But yeah, I think I'll cut it there. I know I missed a lot of Loomians, but that's basically my thoughts on the my early thoughts of the meta. That obviously things will change as we progress. These are not finalized thoughts because we don't know everything about the meta. Tech will rise. Old sets will become outdated and unusable. New sets will rise up in their place as, this kind of stuff works. So, yeah, overall, I don't know how to feel about this meta. Stall was insane last patch, but it got buffed. But I cannot say offense didn't get buffed. Offense did get a lot this patch. Offense did get a lot, but is it enough? We're going to have to find out. So if you enjoyed this video, this hour-long video of me talking about a bunch of pixels for a Roblox game, make sure to leave a like. It really helps out the channel. The first how to use, I will be doing how to use again. It'll be formatted. It'll just be handled a little bit differently. The first one will be for Cephalops because I actually have one. PvP. I just have to train it a little bit, and I'll be able to use it. That'll be the first one. I'm only going to be doing. It'll likely only be once a week or twice a week if I'm feeling gutsy. So the first one will be Cephalops. If I need you guys to vote for the next one, probably within the new Loomians because yes. And then as time goes on, I will likely cover other Loomians like Valkyrie, Munchwheel, that kind of stuff as time goes on. But yeah, vote for the next one you want to see after Cephalops. And with that, I'll see you guys in another video. Yeah.